Good afternoon, everyone. Today is May 4th, very powerful day. It's a Saturday. I'm usually resting and sleeping on Saturday, but today I didn't feel like I could sleep. It's very magical and powerful. So I wanted to talk about the ancient wisdom of the School of Prophets of Israel. It's a big title, right? So, the ancient wisdom of the School of Prophets of Israel. So in Israel, there was a school of prophets. There was a big community of prophets ranging from the times of before they have even a king with Samuel was a prophet, and it was ruled for society was ruled by prophets. So the community of prophets was a normal thing, and they gather and they do their practices without any problem. Then when the kings start to arise with Saul and David, they were still, the prophet were still in the nation of Israel, but there was not so much leadership of the whole nation, while they still really live mainly apart from the people in their hermit tradition ways. Then after Solomon, after the other kings that came, the other generations of kings, until Ahab, I think is the name in English, the prophets became to be persecuted. So that community of prophets started to wane and disappear because of the new governments of kings, and especially kings that were not obeying and following God, the ways of God. Now, in that time then appears one of the major prophets of all history, that his name is Elijah. Now, this is the way they used to transmit and share the knowledge through an oral tradition. So it says in First of Kings, the first book of the Kings, I think it's chapter 19. You're gonna see the first part is the king. So King Ahab, Spanish is Acab. Ahab tells Jezebel everything that Elijah did with the prophets. So Elijah he killed all the prophets of all the evil prophets. So Elijah was kind of a very warrior prophet. So the first part, King Ahab tells Jezebel what Elijah did. So that first part is a king, is of violence. Then the second part is Jezebel talking of, it's a very emotional part. Jezebel says, if I don't do it to you tomorrow what you did to all those prophets, she's threatening Elijah for what he did. Then in that second part, Elijah becomes emotional. It's a very emotional part. Then the third part is about food. Elijah is given food by some angels. Now the fourth part is the part where it's the main focus of that shared wisdom tradition. It says that Elijah went and entered. He went into a cave, right? He entered the cave. Then he told God, so God told him, what are you doing here? He tells, this is happening, the prophets are being killed, the people have abandoned your laws, they have done this, and then I'm the only one who stands, and they want to do the same thing with me. So there's again, you see the parts in that fourth part. There are parts. So the fourth part is the part of the heart, right, and the arms. And then on that fourth part, Elijah says, this has been happening, this happening, this happened, and then I'm the only one standing. I'm the only one prophet standing, and they want to do the same to me. So that tradition is about mudras. Now, Elijah is in the cave, right? He's in the cave there. First pass, I think, is pass a wind, very hard wind. And he said, but God wasn't in the wind. So the first part, this is the first part. Second, I think it's an earthquake. Yeah, it's an earthquake. There's Elijah in the cave, and then second part, an earthquake. Third part, there's a fire. There's a fire on the third part. Obviously, the third part, this one, is about fire. Especially the fire of the magic cauldron. So Elijah is there at the cave, right? And then on the third part, fire. Then on the fourth part, it's like this. First part, this one. Second part, this one. Third part, this one. It's the fire. Then on the fourth one, here is Elijah listened to in Spanish it's called gentle whistle. Gentle sound. If you have been doing some research on meditation and the mudras, especially on Buddhism and Indian traditions like Sadhguru and all different mystics, meditators, it's common knowledge that the fourth one, is the mudra of sound, listening, and it's where you're going to listen to. It's mainly known as tinnitus, like a very high-pitched sound. So there's the gentle sound, gentle whistle, and then that tradition, that the text say that God was there. Now, this is how this oral tradition is passed by. Now there's on the text, you're gonna see a repetition. God asked Elijah, what are you doing there? There's a repetition, exactly the same. It's the other side. And Elijah say, the prophets have been killed, the people, but this happened, and I'm the only one standing. So there you have the other side, it's a repetition. Whenever you see a repetition on this type of text, is an indication of the other side. So you have to be very careful and paying attention to when reading the scriptures. So it happens the same. And I think it says that Elijah came out of the cave, right? He stand outside of the cave. You have the first part where you're going to listen to the gentle sound, the gentle whistle, the tinnitus, high-pitched sound. And then on the other side, the same thing. It's the mirror image. Now this mudra, this finger, is the one responsible of language, apprehension, understanding language, in the different types of language, words, feeling, all the different types of the seven chakras, 7 energy points. This one is the responsible of understanding that language. So when Elijah reached that point, you have the two sides, is when God starts to talk, and he says to Elijah. So this is the fifth part right now, the part of God's talking. So the fifth part. Now he say, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this. So on that fifth part, it's where you're gonna hear God talking. Especially on the Thursday, fourth day. It's where you meditate like this. If you are a very hard meditator, you're gonna feel the energy that wants you to lift your hands, and you're gonna be meditating like with your hands wide open in that mudra. And that's when that's the part of the Heavenly Father prayer when Jesus says, "Thy will be done on earth as in heaven." That's the fourth part. So that's the main core teaching of Elijah in the cave and the school of prophets. Now, when Jesus Christ emerged as the prophet of Israel, there was a very long time in Israel that they didn't have any known prophet, any major prophet, and any historic prophet. There was a time, what some people talk about is a time of silence, yeah. So when Jesus Christ emerged, part of his goal was to create this new school of prophets. So revive the school of the ancient school of prophet of Israel. And you're gonna see the same way of teaching from the Elijah school of prophet. You're gonna see it in Jesus school of prophet. So when he talk about the parable of the judge of the nation, and he talks about he's gonna sit in his throne, he's gonna put the lamps on his right side and the goats on his left side, and he's gonna call the lambs, "Come to me, because when you do this, you do this, you do this to me, you do it to me." And then you see comes another part of the text that is a repetition, but is the opposite. There's a repetition of the text, but it's in an opposite way. And he talks about the body. So you see that there, you see it on, I think, the parable of the 10 virgins. But it's very clear on the parable of the judge of the nation. It's completely clear the same method of teaching from the Israel ancient school of prophets. So I heard that I heard recently that Israel was, and saw some videos that Israel was preparing to construct Solomon's temple again. So I hope that there's a healing of all the misunderstanding of the Christian path. Is gonna rain very soon. Christian paths and all of the Jewish paths and all of the Buddhism, all these wisdom traditions that have been sharing some truths in their own way, but somehow, and I don't know why specifically, somehow these ancient traditions don't want to recognize that they share they're sharing the same wisdom, you know. So probably, you know, there's always good and evil, and some use it for good, some use it for evil. So I hope that you guys like this, that it helped your practice, your understanding. And that will be all for today. Thank you so much.